All right, we have made it to episode 10 of Coping Mechanisms. So, today's guest is Shawn Fairchild, the owner, operator, and founder of The Art of Recovery, which is a human optimization and recovery studio out in Peoria, Arizona. So, this episode, along with the following two, were a part of a series that we filmed while out on this trip for Aries out in Arizona. Now, I know the EMF conversation is a bit weird and has been kind of relegated to being pretty woo-woo, but honestly, as a health professional, I don't think it's really a question anymore of if these EMFs, the radiation from our phones, Wi-Fi, cell towers, all that stuff is having an effect on us. I think it's pretty clear that they are from a fertility, oxidative stress standpoint, and the like. But what is more questionable is the companies that are out there claiming to be able to protect you from these things. And honestly, Aries is the only one who's ever caught my attention. They are the only ones putting their products through actual scientific rigor, which they are continuing to do. And also the only ones that have a legacy that goes back to the Cold War, which is pretty amazing. So anyways, they brought us out there to film some content around a couple projects they were doing, one of which was getting brain scans done with one of the nation's top neuroscientists, Dr. Nicholas Dogris, on some pretty high profile and high performance people, two of which are our next podcast guests, but we'll keep that a secret for now. And the other thing was filming some content around them opening up these Aries certified spaces. The Target Arena that is home to the Timberwolves was one of the first one, and Shawn Fairchild's was one of the next ones. So we flew out there, met up with Shawn, realized he was a cool guy, and kind of exemplified a lot of the things that we care about here at Coping Mechanisms, which is really just giving a voice to the next generation of health and wellness and kind of remodeling what that stuff means. And yeah, he's just a cool guy. We had a really cool conversation, one that I think you guys will enjoy a lot. Also on this episode is my friend Kyle Smith, who is also working with Aries at the time. So shouts out to Kyle for coming on. Shout out to Shawn. Shout out to Art of Recovery. Shout out to Aries. You'll see their stuff throughout this podcast. I'm literally wearing one right now. And yeah, with that being said, this is episode 10 of Coping Mechanisms with Shawn Fairchild. Anything else? All right. You don't know anything about this podcast, do you? We're gonna get right into it. Cool. What's it called? We'll get there. I'm just kidding. All right, boys. Welcome. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining me, Kyle. It's Shawn.
Glad to be here.
So, what'd you just ask me? What's the name of this podcast?
Yeah, what's the name of this
Yeah,
podcast?
we don't know anything about this podcast.
Really? This is episode 1?
Nah, it's like episode 7. So
Okay.
this has been a project for a while. The podcast is called Coping Mechanisms. Everything that I do is called Cope. It's all about like kind of this philosophy of seeing where I wanted to be in the health space. And for me, it kind of was about the disconnection from like health for the sake of luxury was kind of always a thing that I was presented, and it felt unrelatable when I was like, 17, 16, when I like really needed it. So for me, it's all about kind of connecting people doing cool shit, doing the things that they love, whether that be art, whether that be jujitsu or competition in any sort of form, and connecting health to that. So it's not health for the sake of whatever, it's health so that you can do the things that you love. And also when you do that, you realize that doing the things that you love is also fundamentally a part of your well-being.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what we named it. Cope is the philosophy, and then we decided to name it Coping Mechanisms just because it's
good.
Yeah, it's good branding. But anyways, dude, Shawn Fairchild, welcome to the show. We've also got my boy Kyle here, Kyle Smith, coming in from the Great White North of Idaho. And we are in We're not in Phoenix. We're in
Peoria. Close to
Peoria.
Phoenix, though.
Yeah. What's the other name? Glendale slash Peoria.
Yeah.
But Peoria.
Pretty much the same thing.
Peoria sounds way cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today, I mean, we just got done with your recovery studio, recovery center, the Art of Recovery.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking awesome. We were flying yesterday, so we all didn't even realize that we felt like shit, and we were able to come in today, get some sauna, get some compression done, get some red light done, get some cold plunge, and
the whole cycle.
Yeah, and it was really proper to just get everything done and just kind of see what you're doing and see that you're real legit about it. So can you just like tell us about what you're doing with that space over there and just kind of lay out the whole space and how you fit into that picture and just what you're up to?
Absolutely. So I like to look at it almost like a human optimization center where you can go in. It's a combination of, the new biohacking tools as well as like some old school holistic ways of healing, like, the contrast therapy. So I think kind of bringing both of those aspects of it, you get to go in. I like people to get off their phone when they're in there, and just enjoy an hour, maybe 90 minutes to yourself, kind of just get reset. Because I know how much all those things have benefited me and keeping me feeling good mentally, physically. So when I opened up about 3 years ago, it was just based on me training jiu-jitsu a lot, like being sore. I had a cold plunge in my house, So I wanted to make a center that I would want to come to. And I had inspiration from, a couple spots in LA. My love for the cold plunge started about 5 years ago, probably. I did Laird Hamilton's breathing course, underwater training, cold therapy. So that's where I fell in love with it.
Shout out Gabby too.
Shout out Gabby
Shout out
too.
Gabby.
Yeah, they're good people. PJ Nestor too. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was where it originated. So it's cool to bring it to life now.
Yeah. So you like went and had this experience, and you're like, "Whoa, I got to bring this back. I got to like figure out a way to give this to my people." Sort of cool. And
and then I bought a cold plunge I had on my balcony for years. Training jiu-jitsu twice a day. I would hop in that thing. That was the only thing that got me motivated to train my second session. And then I would have some people hit me up because I'd post it on my Instagram stories and shit. People would be like, "Can I come over? Can I use it?" And that's how it started.
Everybody clambers when you get a fucking cold plunger.
They do.
All
start
the homies come out of the woodwork. They're like,
Yeah.
let me get in there.
Yeah.
Can you speak to a little bit about the space that y'all have going on, and then Kyle will kind of contextualize our trip a little bit?
Absolutely. So the plaza we got my spot, Art of Recovery. We got our jiu-jitsu gym, Tim's gym. We have the Recharge Center, which is organic meal prep. And then we also have a lifting gym, Die Hard Gym. It's a super gritty powerlifting gym. So we're all under one roof, basically. It's like the first Arrowhead, Arizona mall. So you walk in, you got all the businesses in the same little doorway. So it's just everything building off each other. It's all health related, which is how it should be. Like a plaza should not be a bunch of random businesses. It should be everything like getting after the same goal. So the community we have, I'd say Tim definitely originated it. He's very into health, training, just living a good lifestyle. So for us to build it and have our own businesses that feed off that, it's just been amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, Kyle, you've been following it as well. How long have you been following Tim?
And really since Shawn's Contender Series fight. And then I saw, wow, these guys are the same age as me.
Yeah.
They're not just fighters, but they're into taking care of their health in a holistic way. And I saw they were hanging out with Paul Check while, I was going through certifications with Paul.
Shout out Check.
So I just paid attention to their career and now with them going back to Montana pretty frequently.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because I'm living like only a few hours away from there. So I'd like to go to some of the amateur fights and the
Fusion Fight League. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of those like fight leagues all popping up, right? Kind of competing for that UFC space.
Man, what I hear out there is in Montana, there's not much going on. So when there's fights like that, like the whole city shows up.
That's cool.
So it's pretty sweet. It's
That's
pretty
cool.
sweet.
Can you speak a little bit, Kyle, about like what we're doing out here?
Yeah. We are helping out Aries Tech get connected with athletes and gym owners within the wellness industry, such as Shawn here, Tim. We started sponsoring, or Aries started sponsoring, the Timbo Sugar Show with Shawn and Tim back in August, and then things have just kind of expanded from there. They've put a hold on that podcast, but we're doing different deals with Tim and potentially Shawn as well. And we're out here to do brain scans so that we can show their public the results before and after using the product. So I saw Shawn here on a podcast with Tim, and I said, that guy looks like one of us who's into the same stuff.
Yeah.
He's talking about human optimization and with a balance, like we don't have to be finding the right amount of ketos and weighing out our macros every day.
Yeah.
But even applying the most basic things helps people benefit their life. So.
Yeah, I feel like the one of us thing really hits because, like, we're coming out on this trip and we're trying to, kind of plot out, obviously we're coming out from Aries. Aries is flying us out here. It's great. cool. We're doing like a business thing. We're trying to figure out like how we can kind of bridge more of the media that our generation really relates to into these things. And that's kind of our angle being involved with Aries. We're not employed by them, but we're contracted by them to write. And I used to be a content creator for them, making videos and stuff. And I'm like, I want to make this stuff more relatable. So we're out here. I mean, I have my own podcast, obviously this fucking podcast, but the stuff that I'm trying to speak to and the people I'm trying to connect to are really like what you exemplify, which is like, this is like a cool dude who seems like, I'm sure you partied, you can talk to people, you're a charismatic dude, but you also are this dude who cares about health. And I feel like before is like, you're either like super nerdy, weird, damn near Asperger's-y, like super nerd health bio-optimizer guy. But it's like, we're like normal dudes. We're not normal dudes, but like we're still cool, relatable people. But I think it like makes health a little bit more accessible when somebody that looks like us or talks like us who, can speak to these things. And it goes to show that like, our generation really is starting to give a shit about this stuff, where I feel like, I don't know what your story is. I would love to hear it. But like, I never was like into that. I was just an athlete and I wanted to do my best. I wanted to do cool shit. And then I hit a wall eventually. I was like, I got to start taking better care of myself. And I couldn't find anybody that was relatable to me to be able to actually pursue those things. So I started doing my own study. And you kind of go off on your own. You find that you're a little bit isolated from the homies. You're like, you shouldn't be eating that. And the boys are like, fuck you, and then you start eventually to connect with people like us. And then we come together to do these things. And that's really what the show is about. But like, what was that process like for you? Like, why did you get here?
Yeah. So I'd say it originated from my older brother. He's about 3 years older than me. And I was living with him at the time. I think I was like 17. And just not really doing much, about to graduate high school. And he started eating organic foods and making these smoothies every day. And he would just start giving me, little smoothies. He would show me like a stretching routine before bed. I think I was going through a breakup at the time, first breakup. The world feels like it's ending. So you're just stressed. So he kind of instilled a lot of these habits in me. And then I just started doing my own research from there. I think I found Paul Chek first, or this guy, Elliot Hulse. I can't remember which one. Just started following their stuff, training like them, eating like them. And then me and my brother started doing a lot of those certifications, like the XBT. I did Paul Chek's course, and I just became obsessed from there. Yeah, it was more like mental health stuff for me.
Yeah,
but
Chek is a great like balanced version of that. I was gonna say because it is talking to. It's not just the physical.
Oh yeah, he's the master at it for sure.
Shout out Chek.
Yeah, he's the ultimate guru.
Yeah, he's the elder, like the grandpa we all wish we had. He's still fucking jacked,
bro.
Popping kids out somehow.
Yeah,
crazy. How that's happening?
Crazy.
But, dude's virile.
It's just looking at like the why. It's like, well, why are we taking care of ourselves, or why do we care to learn more about health and nutrition? Is it because I want to have veins in my forearm, or I want to have a six pack? No. Like those are, I guess cool benefits when your body's looking good, but ultimately my life sucks when I'm not taking care of myself. My energy is stagnant. My relationships, I might be a little bit more bitter, or just I can't do that. I don't have the energy or the time, and you just lose so much out of life when you don't take care of your health.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're at this weird point too in time where our generation is like, our parents, maybe the generation before them, they could kind of get away with a lot more shit. But because these things like really started rolling out heavy in like 92, I think when like processed food really just was getting sprayed heavy, getting fortified minerals with like folic acid, and like all these things started happening. There's wheat, corn, and soy and everything. Like we're really the first generation to be fully saturated in that shit from the rip.
Yeah.
In the iPhones when we're like 10 or whatever. And like, I feel like we're at this point where, I mean, we can see there's kind of this clear divide. Like, you're either going to start taking care of yourself or you're going to go downhill real fucking quick, especially past 25. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I got a lot of homies that got diabetes and are very overweight and keep getting hurt and are having mental issues and emotional issues and just life issues, honestly, too, because it's not, again, like from the holistic lens, it's like, if you're miserable, it might be because you don't fucking take care of yourself. It might not just be, I mean, I'm sure you got trauma. I'm sure you've been through some stuff, but it's also, you got to treat your body in at least a decent state if you want to even have a chance to feel decent.
Absolutely. Yeah, because everybody's got their traumas. It's like using that as an excuse to feel bad.
Facts.
At some point, you just got to take ownership and just get your habits in check.
Dude, yeah, I mean,
Because like even now, if I go 5 days and I'm not dialed in on my routines, I fall back into that like mental state of just not feeling that good.
yeah.
And I've already done so much work, so it's like it's an everyday thing.
Bro, for me, it's like if I skip 2 days, like, I mean, like
Yeah.
really, like I can kind of get away with it a little bit. But I mean, most mornings I wake up, like, you know, I really got to start up this whole process to feel dialed in. And it's cool because, like, I think people look at me being like a health coach or creator, research, whatever the fuck people put on me. They're like, you're just motivated. And I'm like, dude, I don't feel like that at all. I wake up every day is tough. And what I do for that first hour of the day and the other little practices that I weave into my life, that's what gets me there. Like, it's not a thing that's just, it doesn't just happen. I wasn't just handed this. I work for it. It's that saying that, like, the magic you're looking for is in the work you're currently not doing. And I think that a lot of why I did what I do now is because, you know, when I was like 15, 16, 17, I was going to these therapists. I burned through like 9 of them. And eventually on the 10th one, found one that was like cool and like could challenge me. And it was like interesting and stimulating, but still like I could only get like 30% down the road because we never had talked about my sleep. We never talked about my diet. And I was also on these antidepressants and anti-anxiety and ADHD medication because they're basically like, yeah, you're just fucked. Your brain is just born with an absence of these drugs that we conveniently have ready for you. So like for me, I was like, yo, this is cool. And I'm glad that, shout out Teresa, I'm glad I found her, but it wasn't the full picture until I started dialing in my nutrition. Then I was like, once I did that in tangent with the therapy, I was like, yo, what the fuck? There's a bigger picture that we were just never taught.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that what we're doing now is just going to make this stuff a lot more relatable to people where we're having embodied practices. That's why I'm so stoked. I mean, it's very kind of trendy at this point, the cold plunge sauna experience, but dude, it's undeniable. You get in there, you come out, and you're like, yo, I feel alive.
You feel great, yeah. And I always like to tell people to look at those things as like a supplement. Like the number one thing you should be focusing on is, or 3 things: your sleep, hydration, and diet. Okay. Like if those are not dialed in, you could do as many cold tubs as you want. You're still only going to be capped at a certain level of feeling good. So you got to get those essential pillars down first. And I always try and tell all my clients, like, how are you sleeping? How are you eating? You know? And I'm sure you run into it too, like being somebody's coach or being somebody's like facilitator. There is most days where I don't feel like doing it, but it's like we have to live a certain way if we're going to be preaching it.
Right.
Because if I go to a doctor and he doesn't look healthy, or a physical therapist, it's like, how is that person supposed to heal me?
Yeah. I mean, that is the norm.
Yeah.
I had a pretty overweight dude with psoriasis who I happen to know because I grew up in a small beach town in South Carolina, and I went in to get some blood work done. Like, I was visiting South Carolina. I'd been gone for a while, and I was visiting, and I went and got some blood work done, and like my LDL cholesterol was high. I'm a lean mass hyperresponder, so I'm genetically predisposed to having that. He doesn't run those tests. He sees high LDL, and he's like, yo, we might have to take your gallbladder. And I was like, bro, you can.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fuck. Dude, you're going to fuck up my whole life off this rip if I were naive enough to just follow you down this road that you presented. And it's like, dude, you're overweight. You look like shit. I know you're alcoholic.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Right.
Yeah.
It always makes me wonder, too, because my mom had cancer. And that was where initially I spent most of my time in hospitals, was her having cancer, appointments, surgeries. It spread from her bladder to her kidneys, and they had to pull one of her kidneys out, so she has one.
Wow.
And then she has a fake bladder made out of her intestines.
What?
And she's a pretty healthy lady, but like we grew up eating like processed everything.
Yeah.
And just being an athlete, it's like, well, we're not fat, so
Yeah. You burn it off. It's like
Marie Calendar, chicken pot pies, cup of noodles, like everything. And spending that time, I'm like, these doctors aren't offering you anything other than a new surgery. And she's gotten really into health in the past 10 years when I've just spewed all my information on her. So
same. I mean, I'm sure she's taking inspiration off of you. And that's something with my family I've tried to do as well, is like not push it down their throat, because people don't listen like that, especially if you're their kid. They're like, oh, what does this kid know, you know?
Yeah.
But if they see you live in a certain way, now my whole family is pretty dialed in. And my younger brother has Down syndrome.
Mm.
And I swear he is the most athletic, fit Down syndrome. Like the kid looks jacked if you've seen him.
Yeah.
Obsessed with cold plunges.
Really?
So it's like they just take what I'm doing because they see where I'm at now. So they take what I say as truth, which is like a process that you have to go through, you know. You got to earn it.
That's what Czech does, I think, in a really beautiful way. Is he embodies the wisdom, he embodies the strength, he embodies the vitality, and I think that's why it's so important for us to do these things because, like, as you said, like you can't really teach somebody, but what you can do is you can plant seeds by you showing up, and it's difficult because then we got to be quote unquote on all the time. But I mean, it's not like we're doing anything that's outside of ourselves. We're taking better care of ourselves. Yes, there's more motivation from it, and we learn more as we teach other people shit too. But really what we do is we give them an actual reference point. We give them context of like, yo, I know this dude. I see him feel better. And I've also seen him on off days and I see the results of this shit. And it works. And like we get to, you know, be the actual fucking example of what this shit looks like when you just decide to take a little bit better care of yourself in a way that we weren't taught to do, you know?
Yeah. And with detoxification too, like that's the big one is like not just doing a cleanse once or twice a year, but having the detox pathways opened, sweating often.
Always.
Yeah. Getting that UV light, even taking binders and probiotics just throughout the year.
Yeah.
A lot of antioxidants, like you got to keep it flowing.
Absolutely. That's one thing I've really been getting into the last year is a lot of lymphatic system work too.
Yeah, dude. Like
Man.
body work or what?
Just like things like rebounding. There's routine.
Dry skin brushing.
Dry brushing, sauna like gua sha. There's just different trigger points on the body that you can press and massage.
Up in here.
You know, here.
Yeah.
All the lymph nodes basically. But yeah, just getting all that fluid moving. Because I think the lymph system is the only one that like doesn't have a pump.
Right.
So you have to manually pump it. But just every year I feel like I learn something else where I'm like, damn, you
It
know.
just goes deeper and deeper. And it
Just
makes
deep,
you more motivated also to like share the gospel. Because
Yep.
you're like, yo, nobody knows about this. And then you keep going. And you're like, yo, you didn't know about that last thing. But dude, what I found out this year is even crazier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you see how much it benefits yourself and you're like, wow, I just want to spread this knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, so
How do you feel like being this facilitator, dude? We're around the same age and like it's kind of a weird thing. Like one, it's weird to almost not be able to relate to people on a certain tip sometimes because you're like good friends that you grew up with, maybe family members who don't want to fuck with it. It's like that's a little bit weird and you don't want to seem high and mighty. That's a little bit odd. Girls that you meet, you're like, yeah, this chick's beautiful, blah, 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 going on a date. And then it's like, you don't read or like some shit like that where you're just like not even trying to take care of yourself or better yourself. And that's a lot of our generation. So like, how do you, what's that world feeling like being a health conscious guy in 2025?
luckily for me, as far as friends go, all of my good friends own their own business, into health, train jiu-jitsu, do all these things. So now I feel like it's weird if somebody doesn't do that. But as far as finding people outside of that community, like, you know, different women that I talk to, again, I just try and be a good example. If I'm eating good, if I'm doing a morning routine, they see that and they're like, wow, he has good energy. He feels good. He feels happy. So they take after that. I just try and be a good leader because, like, I don't want to judge people for not doing that. Maybe they haven't had the experiences that I've had. Maybe they haven't watched the same videos or studied the same people. So I want to be that person that can introduce it to them, and they'll never forget you for that. You know, you start them off on that. Even exes I look at, you know, still telling me, hey, I'm still eating healthy, organic.
Yo,
like
dude,
it's funny to
that's
see.
the most gratifying experience when you like break up with a chick and, you know, it might not be the most pleasant thing, but like she comes back around, she's like, yo, I'm just want to let you know, like I'm still eating really clean. And, yeah, I think you want to make a protein shake. I'm like, fire, I did my job. Like, I came through, showed you some love, showed you some health.
Hey, and they'll think of you forever for that.
You know?
They'll never forget that.
Yeah.
So it's good.
If you didn't impress them anywhere else, at least
You know?
that you'll be good.
The goal is to like leave it better than you found it.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
That's all I'm trying to do. You know? Just improve people.
Yeah. Dude, so that community that you have, can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, I think one of the things you just spoke to is so profound. Like, y'all have you heard of this idea of third spaces?
Uh-uh.
So one of the things that's kind of fucked about our generation supposedly is like, we used to have churches, we used to have community groups in smaller towns where we would connect in these outside spaces outside of school and work. And we lack that. So we lack the ability to build tight-knit communities. There's this phenomenon called Dunbar's number. He's an anthropologist, I believe, where he like basically realized humans are only supposed to live in groups of like 250 to 300 people of like close relationships based off of villages, basically. And when we exceed those numbers is where we start to run into like kind of this en masse sociopathy and like cynicism, and like a lot of the issues that we see today are due to these huge social groups that we have. So the third spaces are kind of a thing that allowed us for the last like couple hundred years, as we've industrialized and built societies, to be able to still have a healthy relationship with our community that's built around our values. So now that we don't have that, because the church has like largely fallen off. I know you go, and I would love to hear about your experience with that, because I think that's really cool. But like y'all have created this thing where, to be frank, like we showed up and we're like, kind of riding around. We're like, yo, I don't know why. Like, yo, where's the beach at? And they're like, there's no beach. Like, what do y'all do out here? And we're like, just kind of mobbing around in these like residential areas. Kind of didn't get it. And obviously been here for 24 hours. We pull up, we walk in the plaza, right? Plaza vibe. We walk in and we're like, yo, I fucking get it. And then we go to the comp class at Tim's gym and we just see like this tight knit community of fucking assassins.
Yeah.
And then we go over to your spot. A lot of those boys are in there. Y'all are all vibing. You're like helping people out. A lot of them are homies. You're dapping people up. I'm like, dude, this is community.
Yeah.
Like this is healthy. Can you like speak to like how that came to be, and also like what that experience of having that in your life means to you?
I think it's been the number one thing for sure. It definitely came about from Tim. He started it off with his podcast. It just attracted so many people to come train with him. And I've been with him for 6 years. I think tomorrow will be 6 years.
Wow.
So to see the evolution and the amount of people that have came through so similar, it just is a breeding ground to attract people that are into what we're into. So, I mean, every month we'll meet new people that come through. And I was thinking about it the other day because I recently got into church as well due to a girl that I'm dating.
That'll do it.
And a lot of like my past relationships, I noticed that I would always have a good community. I was always happy in that sense. And I felt like it brought me so much fulfillment. And I would look at these girls, they have nobody. They maybe have one friend that they talk to,
It's the norm, bro.
Just no sense of community. So the girl that I'm dating now, she has that church community, which is, great for her. I'm very glad that she has that outlet because I see the difference that it makes in her life compared to, previous relationships where they don't have that.
Yeah.
It's just to have people that carry the same values, I think is essential. I mean, primally, like we were meant to grow up in tribes. So if you don't have that, if you're alone, you're going to struggle big time.
And you don't even really know how to find yourself too. Like, I really like this idea that mental health is kind of a misnomer because it's not in your head. It's partially in your head and in your narrative and how you look at yourself and your traumas and your stories that you tell, but it's also in the bigger story and how you fit into your community. It's your place in society is how you actually understand who you are. Like, you have to have people to challenge yourself with. Like, it's, the same, you see the same thing with athletes. Like, you can go and you can do all the drills, but until you go and train with somebody who's much more proficient than you, that's really what's going to move the needle.
Yeah.
I grew up skating, and like the biggest thing for me was always skating with dudes who were way better than me. So I grew up, Nigel Houston. I grew up at skate park at Tampa.
Yeah.
So when I was like 8 getting lessons, Nigel was like 11, and he was just like ripping.
He was the man
He had
back
the
then,
dreads
bro.
like down past the hips, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and like he just skating. I mean, we weren't like tight or anything, but being around that dude pushed me so much harder. And eventually I ended up going to Woodward because of like just seeing the level that he was at, having sponsors at 10. You know, it just pushed me so much harder. So it's the same thing of like your referential point needs to be sound in that you share values, but you're also surrounded with yourself with people that you actually admire.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's funny because I grew up in the skate scene too. I went to Woodward one
Did you?
year as well.
Dude,
yeah.
fire. Which one did you go? Pennsylvania or Cali?
The California
Yeah, I
one.
went
Yeah.
to Pennsylvania. It was fucking Amish people
Which
everywhere.
was sweet. One thing I noticed about being in the skate community when I was a young kid, though, a lot of the kids that would be a little bit older, they did have a lot of bad habits, you know,
Mm.
like we were doing a lot of drugs. We were just like a rambunctious kids, you know, just going around the city, kind of acting up, giving people problems.
Mm.
So I think it was good in the sense of like I had a community, but bad in the sense of the things that we were doing were not like for the greater good, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you look at like Andrew Huberman, right? Like, so
Yeah.
he grew up with like, I forget his name. He grew up with a bunch of the dudes out in the Bay Area, and he has a lot of similar stories. You know, like a lot of his homies are dead or in jail or
Yep.
whatever, and you know, he was kind of this young, restless youth, and he had this really grateful. He's so grateful for this community that he had, but it does come with a lot of baggage. So it goes
Right.
to show like we need to take the community. It's so important because a lot of skaters are worse in some ways with like drug use, but like a lot of those dudes are being held together as many drugs as they do by the fact that they got boys looking out for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's like we got to take that, and it's beautiful, but then we need to shape it into something that's actually based off of values and not just this thing that we do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the most optimal. So having gyms like jiu-jitsu gyms, it's a great spot because you get your boys, you get the community aspect, but you're also going in and scrapping and doing stuff that's very healthy for you.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you want to compete with these people, so then you go home and eat good, you sleep good. It just improves every aspect. So if people are lacking community, I mean, jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
is the cure.
Yeah. Can you
sure.
speak to some church stuff for me, dude? Like, I'm super curious.
Is
Yeah.
it a Christian church?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, same Christian church.
Speak to it, how just give kind of a background
And
of how I got there.
No. We don't need the whole backstory, but just like in that third space context of like what that means to you. Because I remember, if I believe correctly, like you recently moved to the area that you're in now, and you found a church that you like really fuck with.
Yeah. I'll give a little background. So I grew up with a Christian family, and my parents became Christians later in their life. After their second marriages, it was like yours, mine, and ours, our family. And so I was the youngest, and I was the first kid that grew up in the church 100%. But by the time I got to like high school, I just really got burnt out with a lot of the just hypocrisy and just church politics and like seeing certain people that I'm like, is your life so much better because you go to church on Sunday? Like, it looks like you just kind of suffer with a bunch of rules and then obviously questioning like what's ultimate truth, because not everything can be true, and to believe that the one religion that I grew up with is the true one is just naive. So got into like real indie, like new ageist spirituality for a while I was in college. Read a lot of books around that, and then read a lot of books about the validity of Jesus being who he said he was. You know, there's no doubt anywhere in the world that Jesus existed, but where Christianity and non-Christians like differ is like the history of, was he actually God? And so I read some books that were originally written by atheists that through their research ended up converting.
Those are fascinating cases, dude.
Yeah.
Super fascinating.
Yeah, and so when my wife and I, when we lived in a motorhome and traveled for 2 years, we didn't do any church because we were constantly on the move.
Yeah.
We would listen and kind of read the Bible and grow on our own. But wasn't until we got moved to North Idaho that we're like, you know, the importance of church is not to say you go to church and to just check another box of religion. It's to grow with a community of like-minded people. And I think a lot of people get pushed away from the church because of the lukewarm kind of playing church politics.
Yep.
And when I went to a church that I was seeing people healed from cancer, like tumors completely going away every single week. Like laying hands on people and praying over them, and like something powerful would happen. Along with like the logical side and like really speaking the truth and in all their messages. So it's a smaller church, so it's a lot more intimate. And so I've become pretty close friends with like the pastor and their kids, and know a lot of people there. And we've really enjoyed it the last 2 years we've been there.
That's dope. Yeah, you always speak like great of it, and like I don't know, it was a world that I grew up in, and I spent a long time denying it. I grew up like I'm mixed or whatever, so I grew up with like a very white family, like my blonde mom and my blonde stepdad. Like that was the rip for me. So I was always just like kind of this oddball, black sheep, literally of the family. But then I had the black family, and I'd like go out to my dad's, and my dad would take me to these like down south Baptist churches. Like it just scared the shit out of me. I'm this homeschooled kid with my Game Boy and cargo pants or whatever and a skateboard, and then all these kids are in suits, and then like people are speaking in tongues, like the full southern,
just praising,
like, intense as fuck, like falling over, and like it just kind of scared the shit out of me. I was like, I don't really know what they're on, but this is intense, and nobody really gave me any context. It was just kind of expected of me, and when it was expected of me and I didn't kind of reciprocate, I just kind of got left to the side. Like all the kids would go to youth group, I was just kind of like, fuck, I would literally be in the back of my Game Boy, and then I would stay and watch the adults go through some shit. Like I remember seeing some crazy shit, like this dude starts like speaking in tongues, and then this young guy, he's like 20, he's like pulled out a gun and is like, I fucking killed somebody. And I was like, yo, this is nuts, dude.
Traumatic
like,
events.
It was just a lot. But now I've kind of like circled back as I've like gone through developing a spiritual understanding of things. Like my beginning into that space was like yoga. My mom was a yoga teacher, and I was a yoga instructor at one point. And just through that kind of philosophy, I like came back around to spirituality. Now I have this understanding through a lot of like Peterson's work, honestly, through like kind of just looking at it through this like psychological perspective on like what Christianity means to people. Now I have this respect and understanding for it, and I'm like, yo, there's actually some crazy understatement, but Bible's kind of fire. Like there's some crazy stuff in there, dude.
Great book.
It might be, someone would say, the best book. I don't know about that, but it's pretty amazing. So what is that like for you, man? Like as somebody who wasn't a part of that, really?
Yeah,
like,
I have a very similar story to you as well. I grew up a Christian. My family, we would go to church, but we never lived by the values. So when I was about 12, we stopped going. And I hadn't been to a church in probably 15 years up until about last year, where I started talking to this girl. She invited me, hey, come to my church. And I'm not even going to lie. Like when I walked in there, I felt like my body was hot. Like I felt like I was in a sauna.
You sinner.
Just full of sin. And so, again, it was a smaller church, not a mega church. Like some of those I have mixed opinions about.
Yeah.
But I would see these people just worshiping and the passion that they would have. I would look at them just being so moved by even these songs, right? And then they would come around, put a hand on your shoulder, pray for you. And just like I started to feel it. And there was this one night I went during the week. It was called a renewal room, where you sit and it's just kind of worship, repent, things like that. So I was there, and I had a very out-of-body experience. And I've been into the psychedelics pretty heavy, and it was on par with that, completely sober. And so experiencing that, I was like, wow, like I need to pursue this more. So I've been going about once a week. I kind of bounce around the churches a little bit, just kind of finding what works for me. I like to go alone, honestly.
Word.
Because you get
like
that
without girl?
Yeah.
Word.
You get that full experience, you know? Like I feel like it's a very spiritual journey, so you got to experience it alone. It can be uncomfortable going to a church alone. But yeah, seeing the benefit, I mean, everything in my life has just gotten better having that faith. And yeah, I don't take what they say as full truth, because I don't shun like Buddhism. Like I don't look down on those people. I take good things from those as well. You know, it's like you can't be stuck in a box.
You can't be dogmatic. Like it's not a cult. It's supposed to be a religion. It's supposed to be something that you're giving faith to, not denigrating others, right? Yeah. I think that's like some of the stuff that I was turned away from, just being around this like really hardcore Southern Baptist church where it's like gays are burning and like all this shit.
Right.
Like, yo.
Yeah. Like a lot of the non-denominational churches, they accept like people, like women who are lesbian or gays, whatever. they welcome them in, but they don't stray away from their story. They still preach that, like, hey, like, that is a sin. You should not be gay. But they don't, like, let those people not come inside.
Right.
And so you'll see a lot of those women who are lesbian turn straight.
Yeah.
You know?
Whoa.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think that's like just such a more relatable version of it, though. It's like, come take what you need. You know, take what you need, and like maybe it'll develop, maybe it won't, whatever. But it's like this non-dogmatic approach where, you know, you can come in from being away from it for a while, or like being more involved, but also being away from it for a while, or me coming at it from kind of this agnostic perspective and being like, oh, okay, cool. Like for me, like when I meet these Christians, you know, I'm from the South and I was on the West Coast for a while, coming back to the South after like years of running away from it, and like engaging with some of these like really deep Southern Christian people who are like, you know, me being like black and being in the South, I'm like kind of weary sometimes about some of these like redneck hicky places that I'll be in. But like, you know, this woman's like, oh, like, honey, just like so sweet. And like, I'm gonna pray for you.
Yeah.
Like that sentiment like has come to mean so much more to me now, especially after, you know, I've been heavily into psychedelics as well, psilocybin, like gone very deep with that medicine, and like been cracked open to spirituality through that, and also through sober experiences too in Germany with like these healers or whatever. But like now that I have a deeper understanding of spirituality, when I see these hardcore Christians and I feel the genuineness in this woman telling me, I'm going to pray for you, or even, I mean, Kyle said it to me. I've been going through hell the last like 9 months, going through some crazy shit with my girl, whatever the fuck she is, whatever we are. And Kyle will just be like, I'm going to pray for you. And he's like, no. Like, I'm like, yeah, bet. And he's like, no, like for real, like I'm actually going to pray for you. And like that meant so much to me in that moment, where I'm like having these kind of continual moments of being like, yo, like this is a beautiful practice that really deserves, if nothing else, my respect. And if anything more than that, some curiosity as well.
Absolutely,
To
yeah.
just be like, yo, like what? They're onto something. Because that's the beautiful part. And I think that's also the part that where you see these kind of fake Christians kind of ignore that. Like I had a landlord who was like, you know, all of her kids went to the Christian academy, all this shit, but she was a fucking cunt.
Yeah.
And she was a psycho. And she like fucked over my neighbors, threatened to sue him and his kids and his giant ass German Shepherd are in a hotel room. And 1 month after the like most deadly natural disaster in Swannanoa, North Carolina, she completely fucked him over. I'm like, yo, you're supposed to be this like hardcore Christian woman, supposed to be like taking people in, praying for them, and you just fucked this dude over. Tried to fuck me over too. I'm like, you're the problem for a lot of people with modern Christianity, because like you're not embodying any of these truths. You're also lying and manipulating. Like that's direct sin, I think.
Yes.
And you know what God says about people like that who are lukewarm. They have 1 foot in the spirit and truth of God and 1 foot in the world. And he calls them lukewarm. He says that he will spit them out of his mouth. Basically, that, you know, he has more respect for someone who is just a degenerate and is just screwing their life up, because at least they're being true to like themselves and how they feel, versus someone who plays the part of a Christian. You know, I go to church, I got the bumper sticker,
Right.
but then when it comes down to it, they're like, no, I'm going to screw you over.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a big problem. There is one thing in Christianity that I do struggle with, though.
So
It's the fact that, so you are not supposed to have sex unless you're married. And so that's been a very gray area, because it's like,
what's the standing on that?
Yeah.
Like what do they
it's
really
pretty
say?
strict. Pretty strict.
It is.
Like, but the way I look at it is like, okay, when that rule, whatever, was established, this was many years in the past.
Yeah.
So it's like, were they marrying easier back then, or like?
For sure. I mean, sex means a different thing now, especially when you look at like something like Tantra, right? And, like you can't be like those dudes are all sinners. Like the monks that would go away to these tantric caves and like have these sexual practices, like they were onto something. You know, like so maybe there's a different contextualization of like modernity, and maybe it's like the intentionality behind it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was kind of this proxy for marriage back then.
Yeah, well, first of all, there's no sin that, like, you commit it and God denounces you and you're just, you know, you have no chance of redemption.
That has to be at the top, right? Like you're always forgiven.
Great, yeah.
Like, top of
Grace
the
is
bowl.
always there.
Okay.
Grace is infinite and abounding. Like, every single person from a baby falls short of God's order, because when you look at a baby, they see a toy and mine. They get that
They'll
selfishness,
look you in the eyes and
idolatry,
you.
and but with sex, I think that God created a man and a woman to become one flesh, and when you have sex with someone, you're energetically still tied to them.
Soul
And
tie, yeah.
I do
So-
feel that like tough. I almost like. I mean, I love all my experiences that I've had. Love sex. Sex is cool. Sex is tight. But I see some dudes sometimes that are like, nah, I'm waiting. Like, bro, that first experience with that lady that you know that you're gonna marry, that's probably so pure.
It's got to be so epic.
It's got to be insane, dude.
Yeah.
Never, like, you're 22.
Yeah.
You just married this lady. First night you're about to bang it out. Insane.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
And like thinking about like some of the clarity that those boys probably had from 18 up till 22. Like I did this thing where I was like, I was in Washington and I just moved out to the West Coast. I was going to college after a gap year, blah, blah, blah. And like, I was raised like with this like womanizer thing from my dad. So like, it was kind of a part of my identity, especially being like light skin and like green, blue eyes or whatever. Like that was kind of my thing. And I would, unfortunately, I think use a lot of these experiences to feel better about myself and like kind of use it to move socially as well. And that's how I like integrated. I always had a bunch of, girlfriends that were just the homies as well. But, I was getting out there as well. And I went through this thing where I was like, especially because I just moved out there, I didn't know anybody. I was kind of just like on a run and I wasn't enjoying it. And like there was a particular experience where I was with this beautiful woman and it just halfway through, I was like in the midst of the act and I was like, this is not it. And I just dipped out and I just went on the porch. I think I like smoked a joint or something because I was like 19 and that's how I coped with shit at the time. And I just kind of sat out there and I was like, I don't even know why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And I went celibate for a year.
Wow.
And like going through that process of being celibate for a year was super eye-opening for me because I was like, I just noticed like weird things that you do because I'm always like trying to catch the eye of women. Like I would, I'd walk into the store, Trader Joe's at the time. I remember walking in and feeling this impulse to go in the back and check my hair and make sure I'm straight. And like, I'm like, yo, why the fuck? Like, why do you need to do that? Like, and I realized that I had been outsourcing my sense of security in women. So I think that there's definitely something to the celibacy.
Yeah.
Like for sure that like I probably just don't get. Part of me being a sinner,
Yeah, I mean, I've never tried to go celibate. But yeah, I mean, I've had a similar experience of just kind of abusing that. Going out, just having different women and you just feel kind of nasty after. I remember there was one week it just got out of hand. Just different women, multiple, and you just kind of feel dirty
all
and,
in the same
and
week.
empty. Yeah,
bro. Those are weird ones too because like from like a logical perspective of being a young dude, you're like you should be running up the scoreboard.
Yeah,
and it really when you are with multiple women in a week, you do feel like energetically mucky.
Yeah, you do.
Like you feel like clogged up kind of.
Absolutely.
And it's a weird thing to like be in that situation. I don't think it's a situation a lot of dudes get involved in or like have the opportunity to be in. But like if you do find yourself in that circumstance, because it is like almost an exalted position to be in as a young dude and you're like, yo, this is not it.
Exactly. And people don't get that opportunity and they talk to me. They're like, oh, if only I could have that, I'll be happy. It's the same thing is with money. Like you have to experience it. Like, okay, now I have money, but I'm not fulfilled. It's like, okay, now I have a lot of women. I don't feel fulfilled. It's like going through that. I think you're able to catapult even further if you can get out of that for a little bit. So maybe I'll have to try the celibacy thing.
It's
a
not
tough
easy, dude. It ain't easy, bro.
I mean, Troy Casey.
Troy's celibate right now, right?
Yeah, he is. Because after he had his divorce, he was like, I guess, kind of hoeing around a bit, and then he's like, this just feels not good, like for my energetic system. Yeah. So he switched to being celibate and I think he has been for a couple of years.
Dude, yeah. I mean, going through that, and I think it's also part of the age that we're at now. Once you kind of our fucking brains don't develop as dudes until we're 25. So, like, we start to have this kind of bigger picture view of things because we have a prefrontal cortex. And, like, I mean, for me, like I was telling him at the gym, you know, we saw like Sean's kid running around and she had like a little squad of girls with her. And
Yep.
my girl that I was just with for a while, she has a 10-year-old. So she had her when she was like 17. And like I've been there since birth. So like I just have this deep love for this kid. And before I'd like look at dudes with kids and be like, oh, like, fuck, dude, you're like locked down. That shit sucks. Now,
Right.
for whatever reason, I'm like, yo, you got something figured out. Like I remember being when I first moved back to Asheville, I got back from Costa Rica. Amy was going to come move in with me and she hadn't yet. And I was like in this like in between where I was like about to be in a relationship, but I wasn't. And I was at Whole Foods and I was like, oh man, I'm like still like single or whatever. And I saw this dude like come out of the store, arms full of shit. He kind of looked stressed and he came out to a car with a woman and a baby in it. And like she like took care of him and like ran out of the car and like helped him out and was so, and I saw him like melt in her arms. And especially when the little girl ran over and like jumped in his arms, I was like, damn dude, fuck, he's got something figured out.
Absolutely, yeah. My older brother just had his first boy 2 weeks ago.
Whoa.
And, you know, he recently got married to his girl. And, you know, I'll be on FaceTime with them. And he's got his puppy on one side. He's got his baby in his arms. He's got his girl right there. It's just a different level of, like, happiness. If it's a great relationship, you know.
Yeah.
Having a kid with the right person is a big thing.
Huge.
You know.
The
And he was
person
telling
you
me
choose
that.
to be your partner is like probably the biggest decision you make for your life.
By far.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I used to look at it in a negative way too. You know, like, oh, I don't want that stress. It'll mess with my sleep. I won't be able to do what I like.
Right.
But I think the level of just love and happiness it can bring is more beneficial than like having your freedom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's like that whole thing of like, you know, we're born with naivety. That's like the immature, like the elementary phase of life. And then we graduate to cynicism and we think that that's maturity, but really that's adolescence. And then really like true maturity is the transcendence and inclusion of both, which is like where we can, you know, see the beauty in it and the naive, beautiful, like, holy fuck, just like romantic aspect of life. And then also like see the downsides, but it's the inclusion of both. So it's like, yeah, it is a fucking hassle to have a kid. That shit's expensive. Having a baby is expensive. You're going to have to go through some shit with your partner.
Right.
Like moving in and like being locked in. Like me and Amy lived together for 9 months. She's got a kid. We're putting her in private school. And like,
Yeah.
I was literally in Costa Rica doing whatever the fuck I want. Went back out there to do that. And then suddenly I'm on like stepdad mode and the homies, Cam's looking at me like, yo, what are you doing, bro? And it was just a crazy experience to be in that. And it does come with a lot, but like some of the beauty that you get, some of the depth that you get from those experiences, I'm like, yo, like I do want to have kids. I do want to have a family, and that might actually be the highest articulation of what we can do here as men.
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing too with both my siblings. I have half siblings, and they're both 7 years older. So my brother's 14 years older than me. He's 44.
Oh, wow.
He's got 3 kids, and then my sister's got 3 kids. So 6 nieces and nephews. I would watch them just struggling, you know, like chaotic households. Like they just didn't seem happy with the way they were doing it. And so when my wife and I got married, we were like 25. And we eventually just told, like, we were like, we have no rush to do this. Let's wait till we're 30 at least. And now I feel like we're in a good spot, like financially and just figuring life out, that we're like, all right, if we have kids right now, we'll be able to enjoy it so much more, be able to pour into them, and good homeschool community to where we're at. It's like I'd much rather than like struggling to get ends meet and you know, figuring out which public school system nearby is bad.
Yeah. No, that's a smart way to do it. And I mean, all the experiences that we've gained and all the health knowledge, to be able to pass that to a tiny little human that's like half your DNA, I think is so sweet.
So such a fire move to be able to raise a little fucking savage. That's
For sure. Like I used to teach the kids program at Tim's gym, the jiu-jitsu program. I taught that for 3 years. And we would have these 4-year-olds come in that were just like so shy, wouldn't even look at you in the face, wouldn't talk to anybody. And then 3 months later, they're being very consistent. It's like a brand new kid.
Yeah.
And their parents just tell you, hey, my kid in school they're just so much happier, they're doing better in school, they're more confident. It's like seeing the benefit of a sport like that for kids. Oh, I can't wait to have my kid try that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
just raise a little warrior.
Yeah.
But back to what you said about like experiencing the cynicism,
Mm.
I would rather have that experience of like going through that and seeing that it's not it
Mm-hmm.
than never having that though.
That's
You
why
know?
dudes cheat.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you get married young and, you're looking at the other dude and you're like, grass is greener over there. Like, I never got the chance to do that. It's an unteachable lesson, like, on both ends. Like, you kind of have to touch that stove to know that it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of have to get out there. And, I have one of my clients is a 19-year-old, and he's like, he didn't graduate high school in time, so he's at this alternative school, and he's like kind of this awkward kid, blah, blah, blah. I'm like teaching him to lift and take better care of himself. And he like, all he talks about, because he's like fully TikTok generation kid, he's like, man, like, I need all these bitches and I need money and all this shit. I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you talking about? What bitches are you like, don't even come at me on that shit, because you don't know what you're talking about, first of all. And it's just so not the answer. Like, what you're seeking and putting on the highest pedestal, like, it ain't it. Like, I've been around the block, dude. It's not going to bring you the satisfaction if you don't love yourself at the core. And that's the difference, is like, are you doing it? I mean, same thing with lifting weights or being strong or being fit or being healthy. It's like, if you're doing it from a place of scarcity, scarcity will always beget more scarcity. But if you do it from a place of self-love, that's a different thing. You know? It's a messy game. It's a messy game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. So I wanted to ask you, just since we're on this trip, I kind of want to just get your thoughts on this EMF thing.
Yeah.
I want to talk about it a little bit, because it's a weird thing. Like, for a lot of people, it's one of these tinfoil hat conversations where it's like been relegated to this like woo-woo area. But I think it's really cool to be able to have a solution that, one, we actually feel comfortable enough to talk about, but also actually like we're all wearing it.
Yep.
And it's fucking cool. So like, how did you start to care about this shit, this stuff, Aries Tech and EMF, and like realizing that it was a thing anyways?
I remember seeing an ad on Instagram of the Aries Tech probably 3 years ago, 3 years ago, and it really sparked my interest. I was actually going to order one of these for the necklace, because I was like, I would hear Paul Chek talk about unplugging your Wi-Fi at night, doing things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I started incorporating that, and I was like, just the fact that I could wear this and have that benefit everywhere, just knowing how dirty like the AirPods are, things like that. Always try and wear wired headphones just to protect the brain, because the brain is everything. You know, being around a lot of fighters, I see the CTE, I see how it affects them, how negatively like they can think because of it, just like their brains scattered, whatever. Yeah, it's just like, if any tool I can use like this, I'm all over it. So then when Tim got connected with Aries, I think it was a year ago or so, gifted me some of the product, started using it. I feel like I felt a difference right away, 100%.
Or
Like, I have it at my
sleep?
house. Just sleep, just like my brain feels cleaner. I have an electric car as well. Just, you know, having it in there, it's just like I feel like my brain is firing always.
Yeah. I always like equate it to like the rested thing. When people are like, what did you feel? I'm like, I just feel like I'm like a little bit more on, like, I always tie it in with sleep, because I do feel like it helps me sleep better.
Yeah.
I just feel like I'm running a little bit more smoothly, as if I had slept properly. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's cool. And for me, I'm like, I always stayed away from it professionally, because it was a conversation that I didn't really want to involve myself in, because I didn't want to put anything on anybody or suggest anything that I couldn't actually like look to actual science on. And Aries was the first company that was doing actual research. So for me, I'm like, they're doing research. They're like, I mean, like, the legacy behind it. I know Kyle talked to you about it earlier, but like Dimitri's dad and just like the whole thing, like way back in Cold War Russia, and how he was developing this thing to protect these soldiers from these radio frequency stations and all this shit. Like, why would you not wear this pendant if it might keep you fertile?
I didn't even know that till today. So the fact that you told me that, and I'm like, wow, it's just, it's I think the best company there is. I don't even know of any other companies that are doing it.
There's none that are actually doing it.
Yeah.
There's EMF blockers, which most of the time do not work, because if you're going to put like a blocking sticker or a pad or something on your laptop or your phone, what is it blocking if the phone is still working?
Yeah.
But there are blocking technologies that do work, like a Faraday bag, which is good. Like, shit hits the fan, you want to go off grid, you throw your phone in there, can't be tracked at all. But you're not using the phone. But when you see like blocking technology and the device is still working, it's not blocking anything. I know somebody who put there's material that will block waveforms, and they put it around the outside of their trailer that their family was living in. And their family got really sick because it contained all the frequency within there. So modulating, changing the waveform, any waveforms that come from the earth, the sun, our bodies, nature, those electromagnetic frequencies are circular. But sinusoidal, I believe, is the name of non-native EMF. So they're square waveforms, and that's what interacts with our DNA and destroys it. It causes oxidative stress, messes with your hormones and all these things. And so that's the way the product interacts with these other waveforms into making them biologically compatible without changing the ability to use the device. But the one thing that I still like, people ask me if they would use is AirPods, and they're like, well, what if I put a LifeTune 1 on the AirPod controller? I'm like, in theory it should work, but because they're inside your ear and it's connecting with the one on the other side, it's piercing through your blood-brain barrier.
Yeah, and the blood-brain barrier is like one of the big concerns, right? Opening it up.
Oh, yeah. So just over-the-ear headphones, I have some where I just put, if they're not wired, putting a LifeTune 1 on the outside of them.
Because the wire goes around, right?
Yeah. Or even just having like a flex necklace too.
Yeah. Nobody's doing this shit, so it's super cool, and definitely super grateful for them sending us out here to do this stuff and spread the good word. And it's super cool to see you becoming one of their certified spaces, and just
I'm pumped on that. Yeah.
I mean, everything that you're doing, dude, is really rad. And you being a part of this, and being willing to consider this stuff, having an open mind and rocking this stuff yourself and telling the homies about it. I mean, it just goes to show that you're a part of this next generation of health and wellness that we really need. Somebody that's relatable, but somebody that's actually open-minded and considering these things, and just giving people an opportunity to do their best and to be their best. So I fucking hat tip to you, bro, as another health warrior out here trying to get people to just take a little bit better care of themselves. It's super cool to see what you're doing and to be in your space, man. I mean, I was legitimate. I've been a bunch of places like that, but I was impressed, bro. Like it was legit. It was dialed. You care, and you're informed about what you're doing, and you're like, get you in here, get you over there. You're like, no, get up against that red light panel, dude. Like, right up on there. Yeah, it's fucking cool, man. So I appreciate it a ton, bro, and thanks for coming on the pod. I know you got to dip in a minute, but it's super great to sit down with you and to just connect, man. You're a homie, you're a cool guy, and it's cool to just beyond the media stuff, actually connect with somebody who gives a shit about this stuff. So
yeah, no, I'm glad you guys came down and got to experience it for sure.
Yeah, it's cool shit. Well, we're gonna wrap. You gotta get. So appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah. We'll be in touch, and maybe we'll run it back
sometime.
sometime.
Bro.
Yeah. Well, we tried. Cool.
Hell yeah.
It's a wrap.